Welcome to BL Stories, where romance, drama, and unforgettable boys' love come to life. Love knows no limits, and the best stories aren't always straight. Subscribe now and join our growing BL-loving family. Nathan Dawson, deeply in love with his girlfriend Tracy, believed they had a perfect relationship filled with laughter, shared dreams, and unbreakable bonds. However, his best friend Trevor, who had always been there for him, began stirring feelings he couldn't ignore. Nathan found himself seeing Trevor unexpectedly, causing his life to crumble and him to be torn between his love and the connection he couldn't deny. As he struggled between his two worlds, Nathan kept secrets from Tracy, unaware that Tracy knew that Nathan had fallen for someone else, his best friend Trevor. This revelation led Nathan to keep secrets from Tracy, who was unaware of his feelings for Trevor. Chapter 1. What do you think of this one? I looked up to see Tracy holding a short red dress in front of her, a hopeful smile on her face. Tilting my head, I tried to picture her wearing it at the party on Saturday. "It's a little short, babe," I said, imagining the kind of attention she'd get if she showed up in that. I didn't mind how it looked. Tracy could pull off anything, but the thought of other guys staring made me uneasy. Tracy sighed and looked at the dress again before putting it back on the rack. "Yeah, I guess you're right. But shopping for dresses is so hard." "Well, if you really want it." She shook her head. "No, I want to wear something you'll like too." I smiled as she tossed the red dress onto the growing pile of maybes. Every time there was a party, Tracy had to get a new outfit, and every time, I somehow ended up as her shopping assistant. Don't get me wrong, I love Tracy. I'm so into her that I'm willing to trade a day of gaming just to go dress shopping. To most people, Tracy might seem like an ordinary girl, but to me, she's amazing. She's got long brown hair that curls softly to her waist, warm brown eyes that light up when she smiles, and a kindness that makes everyone feel at ease. She's beautiful, inside and out. Maybe that's why I get a little protective. I just don't like the idea of other guys staring at her the way I do. "Nate." Her voice snapped me out of my thoughts. She was standing in front of me, looking concerned. "Are you okay?" she asked. "Yeah," I said quickly, flashing her a reassuring smile before standing up from the bench. I walked around, pretending to search for a dress she might like, until my eyes landed on one hanging on the wall. "What about that one?" I asked, pointing to a sleek black dress. Tracy squinted, then shook her head with a laugh. "That one? Nate, that's not my style." I sighed, trying not to look disappointed. Shopping was definitely not my thing, and after nearly 5 hours of it, I was running out of energy. "Tracy, you're so picky," I teased. "I liked most of the things you tried on." "Yeah, but I didn't," she said, nudging my arm with a playful frown. "Why are you so stressed?" "It's just a regular party." She sighed. "You don't get it, Nathan. We girls have to find the perfect outfit, the perfect hair, the perfect everything. It's exhausting trying to look perfect all the time." I smiled softly. "You're already perfect." Tracy blushed. "You're my boyfriend, you have to say that." I laughed and shrugged. "Doesn't make it any less true." A few minutes later, she threw her hands up in frustration. "You know what? Forget it. I'll just wear shorts and a tank top." "Fine by me," I said, chuckling. Honestly, I never understood why girls dressed up so much for parties. But eventually, after what felt like forever, Tracy found something she liked: high-waisted shorts and a simple top. "I'll wear my bandeau with it," she said as we sat in the food court afterward. I raised an eyebrow. "I what?" Tracy laughed, tossing a fry at me. "A bandeau. It's like a short tube top." "Oh," I said, pretending to understand. She laughed again, shaking her head. "You're hopeless, Nathan." I grinned, sipping my drink just as my phone buzzed. A text from Trevor, my best friend since kindergarten. "Trevor, bro, come over. You won't believe what my brother just found online." I chuckled quietly, earning a curious look from Tracy. "Who's that?" she asked. "Just Trevor," I replied with a shrug. "Is he asking you to hang out?" she pressed. Maybe. Tracy smiled knowingly. If you want to go, it's fine. I know you think I keep you from your guy time. Guilt tugged at me. She was being so understanding, even though she had no idea that I was already thinking of excuses to leave. Tracy, you're not getting in the way of anything. I want to be here with you, I said honestly. She studied me for a second, then smiled. I love you. I met her gaze, my heart softening. I love you too. Good, she said, standing up and grabbing her bag. Because I just got a text from Karen. She's here at the mall, so I'll hang out with her while you go see Trevor. You sure? I asked, still feeling a little bad. Yes. Tracy laughed. Go before I change my mind. I grinned and pulled her into a quick hug, planting a light kiss on her cheek. You're the best. Don't forget it, she teased, smiling as she walked off toward Karen, who was waving from across the food court. Watching her go, I felt both grateful and uneasy. Tracy really did trust me, and she had no idea that the person I was about to see wasn't just my best friend. There was something about Trevor I couldn't explain, something that made my heart beat a little faster every time I saw him. And deep down, I knew that this wasn't just about friendship anymore. Chapter 2. I parked my car in Trevor's driveway and sat there for a moment, letting the last few seconds of a good song play before turning off the engine. Isn't it funny how your favorite part always comes right when you reach your destination? The small struggles of life. I locked the car as I got out, still overly cautious ever since someone broke in last year and stole my old music player. That thing had my entire playlist, every album I loved. Losing it still stings. Before I could knock, Trevor opened the door with his usual grin. Nathan, he exclaimed, pulling me inside with a playful tug on my arm. I couldn't help but laugh. Trevor's energy was always contagious. To be honest, Trevor and I are what people might call the popular guys at school. Not that it really matters to us, but we're both on the football team. He's the team captain, and I'm the quarterback. People know us, talk to us, and sometimes make assumptions. But at the end of the day, we're just two guys who've been best friends since kindergarten. So, Trevor said with a smirk as we walked into the kitchen, your girlfriend actually let you out of her sight today? I rolled my eyes. Trev, it's not like Tracy doesn't let me hang out with you. He opened the fridge and started rummaging through it, pulling out 2 cans of soda. As he bent over, I noticed how built he'd gotten. He worked out constantly and it showed. Not that I was paying attention or anything. It was just hard not to notice when someone takes care of themselves that much. Trevor handed me a can and shrugged. I'm just saying, man. Tracy seems a little, I don't know, attached. I frowned. She's not clingy. She just really cares about me. Yeah, he said, opening his soda with a hiss. But there was something in his tone, something almost annoyed. That was weird. Trevor had always been cool with Tracy. What's wrong? I asked, taking a sip. He sighed and leaned against the counter. I don't know. You've just been different lately, that's all. Ever since you started dating her. I looked down at my drink, feeling the truth in his words. I had changed. When I was around Tracy, I got softer, more emotional, more open. Maybe too open. I know, I said quietly. But, have you ever liked someone so much that you don't even know how to act around them? Like your insides are melting and you can't stop smiling? Trevor just stared at me, his brown eyes thoughtful. For a second, the air between us felt heavier than usual, and I instantly regretted saying all that out loud. Then he gave a teasing grin. Can't say I have, man. I kind of hate everyone equally. I laughed, relieved. Yeah, that sounds about right for you. Hey, he said, raising an eyebrow. I don't hate you. Well, not that much. Oh, thanks. I feel so loved. He chuckled and leaned back, looking amused. You know, you're surprisingly good at acting dramatic. Anything you want to tell me? My eyes widened slightly before I realized he was joking. He burst into laughter when he saw my reaction. I'm kidding, dude, he said between laughs. Relax. Very funny, I muttered, tossing him my empty can before walking into the living room. But as I sat down, his words replayed in my head. Anything you want to tell me? Why did that make my heart skip? It didn't make sense. He was my best friend. Nothing more. A few seconds later, Trevor came in and sat beside me. "What's with that face? You look like you just ran a marathon." "I'm fine," I said quickly, trying to sound normal. He laughed and reached out to squish my cheeks. "You sure? You're all red." "Cute." I swatted his hands away, embarrassed. "You're impossible." He grinned. "You're welcome." We sat in silence for a while as he flipped through TV channels. "So," I said eventually, "I thought you said your brother found something online you wanted to show me?" Trevor smirked, eyes still on the TV. "Yeah, but maybe we can chill for a bit first. You always rush things." I rolled my eyes. "Since when do you care about relaxing?" He shrugged, still smiling. "Maybe I just like hanging out with you." "Wow, that's new," I said sarcastically. "Are you feeling okay?" Trevor turned his head, and our eyes met. For some reason, I couldn't look away. His smile faded into something softer, unreadable. "Why are you looking at me like that?" I asked, trying to laugh it off. "Does it bother you?" he asked quietly. His tone had changed. It wasn't teasing anymore. It was low, serious, and for some reason, it made my heart race. We stared at each other, neither of us moving. I could see the tiny flecks of green in his brown eyes. I swallowed hard, unsure why the air suddenly felt so thick. "Nathan," he said softly, leaning a little closer, "there's something I need to tell you." My pulse quickened. What is it?" He leaned in just a little more, close enough that I could feel his breath. Then, with a grin breaking through, he whispered, "You're so easy to mess with." Before I could even react, he burst out laughing. "Trevor!" I groaned, covering my face with my hands. "You should have seen your face," he said, barely able to breathe from laughing so hard. I threw a pillow at him, trying to hide my embarrassment. "You're the worst." Still chuckling, he got up and gestured toward the stairs. "Come on, let's just go upstairs and hang out. I promise, no more jokes. For now." I followed him, shaking my head but smiling anyway. Even as I laughed it off, my heart wouldn't stop racing. And deep down, I couldn't tell if it was from embarrassment or something else entirely. Chapter 3. The three of us were hanging out in Trevor's room that Friday evening. Me, Trevor, and his older brother, Mark. A movie played on the screen, though it wasn't exactly the most family-friendly choice. Mark had picked it, claiming it was for research, but we all knew he just liked making us uncomfortable. Trevor was sprawled out on the bed, his chin resting on his crossed arms, while I sat on the floor beside him. Mark had claimed the yellow beanbag chair in the corner, scrolling on his phone between glances at the screen. "Man, this is so dumb," Trevor muttered, shaking his head with a grin. "You say that every time," Mark replied, smirking. "But you never stop watching." I laughed, trying to hide how awkward I felt. "He's got a point, Trev." Trevor grabbed a pillow and tossed it at me. "You two are hopeless." "Hopelessly fun," Mark shot back. "You should try it sometime." That made Trevor snort, and I couldn't help but laugh again. It was always like this, us teasing, joking, and saying things just to get a reaction. Especially from Trevor. He always pretended not to care, but you could tell he secretly enjoyed our nonsense. Mark leaned back, watching me and Trevor bicker. "You know," he said, "you two act like an old married couple sometimes." Trevor and I exchanged a look before bursting out laughing. "You're just jealous," I said, pointing at him. Mark grinned. Sure. Keep telling yourself that, Nathan." When I glanced over at Trevor again, though, he wasn't laughing anymore. He was quiet, his expression unreadable. For a moment, I wondered if he was actually bothered, but before I could ask, Mark started talking again, and the moment passed. Eventually, Mark got up and stretched. "All right, I'm calling it a night. Try not to break anything, you two." "Night, loser," Trevor said, throwing another pillow at him. "Night, dorks," Mark replied, dodging it before closing the door behind him. When it was just me and Trevor, the room felt strangely quieter. The faint music from his playlist filled the background, and the glow of the TV cast soft shadows on the walls. Trevor turned to me with that lazy grin of his. "So, you staying over?" "Yeah," I said. but I'll have to grab some clothes from home later. He raised an eyebrow. Come a minute. How long have we been friends? You always end up borrowing my stuff anyway. I smiled. True. You probably still have one of my hoodies from last time. He chuckled. Finders keepers. As he headed toward the bathroom, he called over his shoulder, Make yourself at home. I'll just take a quick shower. When the door shut, I lay back on his bed, staring at the ceiling. The sound of running water filled the silence, and for some reason I felt nervous. Not in a bad way, just in a way I couldn't quite explain. Trevor's family was well off. His dad was a doctor, his mom a psychologist, and their house reflected that. But what I admired most was how humble they were. Despite having everything, they never acted like it. They were kind people, the kind who treated you like family. I was lost in thought when I heard the bathroom door open. A cloud of steam rolled out, and Trevor stepped into the room, towel around his waist, hair damp and messy. Hey man, he said casually, heading to his dresser. Hey, I replied, trying to act normal. But I could feel my face heat up for no reason. We'd been friends forever, this shouldn't feel weird. He started rummaging through his drawers for clothes, humming under his breath. I found myself glancing at him for just a second too long. His back muscles shifted as he moved, and tiny droplets of water ran down his neck before disappearing beneath the towel. I quickly looked away, my mind racing. What are you doing, Nathan? I sat up and rubbed my neck, trying to shake the feeling off. It's not like you've never seen him like this before. We'd grown up together. We'd played sports, crashed at each other's houses, even shared a tent once during a camping trip. It was nothing new. So why did this feel different now? Nathan. I blinked and looked up. Trevor was standing in front of me now, fully dressed in jeans and a black t-shirt. Sorry, I said quickly. Zoned out. He smirked. Thinking about your girlfriend? Yeah, sure, I muttered, trying to sound casual. He nudged my shoulder. You're so whipped, man. Maybe, I said with a laugh. But at least I'm happy. He smiled faintly, though his eyes softened in a way I didn't understand. Yeah, he murmured. Happy. The word hung in the air between us, unspoken questions hiding behind it. For a moment, neither of us said anything. The only sound was the quiet music still playing in the background, soft, steady, and strangely fitting. I wasn't sure what was happening inside me. Maybe it was confusion, maybe curiosity, or maybe it was something I wasn't ready to name yet. But that night, as we stayed up talking about random things, school, football, life, it felt like something had shifted between us. Something I couldn't explain, and something I couldn't ignore. So, there's nothing wrong with being in love with your girlfriend, I said, nudging Trevor playfully. But instead of laughing like he usually did, Trevor looked straight at me, his eyes unusually serious. Do you seriously love her, Nate? He asked. The question caught me off guard. I looked down at my hands, fiddling with the edge of my sleeve. Yeah, I said simply. He raised an eyebrow, and I could feel the weight of his stare. The room suddenly felt smaller, quieter. How do you know? He pressed. That question made my throat tighten. I glanced up, and Trevor was still watching me, really watching me. His tone wasn't teasing, it was genuine. Curious. Maybe even doubtful. I don't know, I admitted, forcing a laugh. She just makes me happy, I guess. She's everything I thought I wanted. Every time I see her, my stomach flips and I can't stop smiling. Trevor leaned back, resting his head against the wall, still studying me. Sounds nice, he said, though his voice carried something else, something unreadable. You okay? I asked after a moment. You've been kind of tense lately. Not just today, like for a while now. He looked surprised, then smirked. You think too much, Nate. I'm fine. I reached over and lightly patted his shoulder. Just checking. You've been acting weird lately. Snapping at people, zoning out, kind of makes me think something's bothering you. For a second, I thought he might actually tell me. But then he chuckled and said, Why would I tell you? You'd probably turn it into one of your cheesy life lessons. Hey, I give good advice. I protested. Yeah, he said, grinning. Real inspirational. His teasing tone made me relax again. That was more like him. But there was still something about the way he was looking at me that I couldn't quite place. Something softer. After a few moments, he said quietly, "You know, for someone who's always talking about his girlfriend, you blush a lot whenever I tease you." I laughed nervously. "Do not." "You totally do," he said, leaning closer. "You're doing it right now." I rolled my eyes, though I could feel my cheeks warming. "You're impossible." Trevor smirked. "You love me though." Yeah, I muttered, chuckling. He stopped laughing, suddenly serious again. "Say it." "What?" "Say you love me." I looked at him, confused. "You already know I do, man. You're my best friend." He smiled faintly. "Yeah, best friend." But then, something in his expression changed. His gaze lingered on me longer than usual, steady, searching. "Trevor, what's with that look?" I asked, half laughing, half nervous. He just shook his head, his smile fading into something gentler. "Nothing. Just wondering if you mean it." "Of course I mean it," I said, my voice softer this time. "Your family, Trev. You've always been." He nodded but didn't say anything. The silence that followed wasn't awkward, it was heavy, charged with something I couldn't explain. Then he chuckled again, breaking the tension. "You're too easy to mess with, man." I laughed, relieved, and pushed his shoulder lightly. "Don't do that to me. I thought you were having some sort of emotional breakdown." He grinned. "Not. Just making sure you're still alive under all that seriousness." I smiled, but my heart was still beating too fast. I wasn't sure if it was because of his teasing, or because of how close we'd gotten in that moment. After that, we tried to go back to normal, watching random videos, joking around, throwing pillows at each other. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. About the way he'd looked at me. The way he'd said, "Say it." And even though nothing really happened, something inside me had shifted. For the first time, I wasn't sure if what I felt for Trevor was just friendship anymore. And that scared me more than anything else. Chapter 4. Trevor's POV. I'm in love with Nathan Dawson. I've loved him for as long as I can remember, probably since we were toddlers. Our moms were best friends in high school, and they wanted their sons to grow up just as close. So, naturally, Nathan and I spent nearly every day together. You might think it's impossible for a 2-year-old to feel something like love, but I've always believed even at that age, you start to feel and notice things: warmth, comfort, attachment. Parents might laugh when their little boy kisses a girl on the cheek, but if it's another boy, suddenly it becomes wrong. That never made sense to me. I grew up being told boys were supposed to like girls. That was just the rule. And sure, sometimes people said it was okay for girls to like girls or boys to like boys. Just not me. Somehow, it always felt like I couldn't. Nathan and I have always had a rare kind of friendship, the kind that makes people comment on how close we are. I trusted him with everything. He felt like family. But in middle school, something changed. I realized the affection I felt wasn't brotherly at all. It wasn't just friendship. It was love, the kind you're not supposed to have for your best friend. That realization was hard. Middle school is already confusing enough, and now I had to face the truth that I liked boys. It took me years to accept it. Even now, I still struggle sometimes. While other guys were figuring out how to talk to girls, I was figuring out how to hide what I felt. I never had crushes on girls, never felt that spark. Honestly, I was more comfortable around them than most guys were. I'd sit in their rooms, see posters of famous actors on their walls, and secretly think, yeah, I kind of get it. And then there was Nathan. As we got older, I began to notice how much he'd changed, how kind his smile was, how his laughter filled a room. I started thinking about him more often than I wanted to admit. And when I caught myself doing that, I felt ashamed. I told myself it was just a phase. I even dated girls, trying to prove to everyone, and to myself, that I was straight. I became known as the player, but that image was just a disguise. It was easier to let people think I was careless with girls than to risk them finding out the truth. Still, no matter who I dated, no matter how many people I tried to distract myself with, it always came back to Nathan. Whenever he had a girlfriend, I'd feel this strange ache, a jealousy I couldn't explain to anyone. I'd tease him, act annoyed that he was whipped, but deep down I just wanted him to look at me the way he looked at them. I wanted him to realize I'd been there all along. Of course, that's not how life works. So here I am, a so-called popular guy, secretly a hopeless romantic, and completely in love with my best friend. Nathan can never know. I think about it all the time. What would happen if he found out? Would he be disgusted? Awkward? Would things ever go back to how they were? Probably not. Even if he said it didn't matter, it would change everything. He might stop wanting to hang out as much. He might not even sit next to me like before. I imagine him moving to the other side of the room, avoiding eye contact, and that thought alone breaks my heart. And then there's another thing. When people find out you're gay, they assume you're into every guy alive. That's not how it works. Just because I'm into men doesn't mean I'm into all men. Take Brock Willis from our team, for example. He's loud, muscular, and not exactly my type. He's the kind of guy who brags a lot and barely studies. I respect him, but I don't feel anything toward him. I prefer quiet people, thoughtful, gentle souls. People like Nathan. Tonight, I can't sleep. It's past 2:30 a.m., and I'm sitting in the kitchen eating ice cream straight from the tub, replaying everything that happened earlier. I messed up. I crossed a line with Nathan, one I never should have crossed. It started as a joke, but in the moment, I forgot where the joke ended and my real feelings began. I can't believe I let it happen. I don't even know what he's thinking right now. But the thing that keeps replaying in my head is the way he looked at me. Not shocked, not disgusted, just confused. And maybe, just maybe, curious. For a second, it felt like everything I'd been holding in for years came rushing out. And for that tiny moment, it was like a weight lifted off my chest. But then reality came back, heavy as ever. Now here I am, spoon deep in cookie dough ice cream, battling brain freeze and guilt at the same time. Classic Trevor. I laugh quietly to myself. Ice cream, the universal cure for heartbreak, confusion, and every late-night regret. Nathan's probably asleep now, unaware that his best friend is sitting in the kitchen overthinking everything. And as I put the tub back into the freezer, I can't help but whisper under my breath. I wish you knew, Nate. I wish you knew how much I love you. When my parents go away, which happens pretty often, the house feels unbearably quiet. That's why I usually ask Nathan to stay over, or sometimes I go to his place. I hate being alone. Even when my older brother, Mark, is around, it doesn't help much. He's always glued to his phone, barely saying a word. Dragging myself up the stairs, I ran a hand through my hair and sighed. It was almost 3 in the morning, and I hoped Nathan had already fallen asleep. No such luck. I nearly jumped out of my skin when I saw him sitting upright on my bed in the dark. Nate, you scared me half to death. I gasped, clutching my chest. He chuckled softly, the corners of his mouth curving into that teasing smile he always wore when he knew he'd startled me. Sorry, did I scare you? I frowned at him, trying not to laugh. Of course not. I just thought you were asleep. It's not like it's the middle of the night or anything, I muttered sarcastically. He grinned. I heard you raiding the fridge. You didn't even invite me? What kind of friend eats at 3 a.m. without offering a snack? I was eating ice cream, I replied, walking toward the bed. Cookie dough, if you must know. Nathan shook his head dramatically. Wow. Betrayal at its finest. Why are you sitting on my bed anyway? I asked, pretending to sound annoyed. You weren't here, so I thought you went downstairs to have a midnight feast, he said, still grinning. All right, scoot over, I said, nudging him gently. You can take the spot on the floor tonight. I even made you a pillow nest. He raised an eyebrow. Why do I have to sleep on the floor? Because it's your turn, I said, pointing to the small pile of blankets on the floor beside the bed. See? I made it extra cozy for you. Nathan crossed his arms. I want to sleep on the bed. I blinked at him, surprised. Wait, now you want to switch? At 3 in the morning? He hesitated for a moment, then said casually, Actually, why don't we just share the bed? It's big enough for both of us. I mean, we're best friends, it shouldn't be weird. I froze. Are you serious? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Since when are you okay with that? We've known each other for 15 years, and suddenly you're fine with sharing a bed. He shrugged, pretending to think. The floor hurts my back. Besides, it's just sleeping. It's not a big deal. I looked at him for a long moment, unsure of what to say. He looked calm, maybe even a little amused. Finally, I sighed and climbed onto the other side of the bed. Nathan chuckled quietly. "Took you long enough," he teased, rolling over to face me. Yeah, I muttered. "I was just coming up with my plan to kick you out of here while you're asleep." He laughed softly. "You wouldn't dare. You love me too much." I turned my head to look at him. His eyes were warm and playful, catching the faint light from the lamp. My heart thudded unexpectedly. "Don't push your luck," I said, smirking. He grinned. "Too late." Nathan leaned over and tapped my arm before lying back again. "You always act tough, but you're one of the softest people I know." "Not," I protested weakly. "Sure," he said, his voice trailing off with a laugh. For a few minutes, the room went quiet. The only sounds were the faint ticking of the clock and Nathan's slow, steady breathing. It should have been peaceful, but my heart was racing. I could feel the warmth of him beside me, just inches away, and it made it impossible to relax. "Hey," Nathan said after a while, his voice soft, almost sleepy. "Thanks for always letting me stay over. It feels weirdly calm here." I turned slightly toward him. "It's nice having you around. Makes the house feel less empty." He smiled faintly. "Same." We lay there in silence again, the kind that felt comfortable but heavy with something unspoken. "Trevor," he murmured suddenly. "Yeah. I'm really glad we're friends." My chest tightened at that. I wanted to say, "Me too," but the words got stuck in my throat. So instead, I just whispered, "Yeah, me too." He smiled, eyes half closed, clearly drifting toward sleep. I turned off the lamp, staring up at the ceiling. As the room grew darker, I could still feel the warmth of Nathan beside me, close enough to touch, but still a world away. I wanted to reach out, to hold him, to tell him everything I'd been keeping inside. But I didn't, because sometimes the things you want most are the things you're most afraid to lose. So I stayed still, eyes open in the dark, listening to Nathan's quiet breathing, and wishing the night would never end. Chapter 5. Nathan's POV. "I don't even know why I eat peanuts," Tracy muttered, staring at her ice cream cone. "I hate peanuts. Like really hate them." I couldn't help but smirk as she took another bite, her face scrunching in frustration. Tracy's like that. She craves the strangest things even when she knows she doesn't like them. She despises nuts, but today she just had to have them. "Want a trade then?" I offered, holding out my double fudge ice cream. I got mine in a cup because, let's be honest, I'm terrible with cones. I always end up dropping them. Tracy eyed it thoughtfully, biting her lip. "Ugh, what a hard decision." "I know, life's full of struggles," I teased. "Babe," she groaned dramatically, pouting her lips. "What am I doing with my life?" I laughed. She looked so cute when she was being overly dramatic. "Why did you get peanuts then, Trace?" I asked as we sat down at a small corner table in the ice cream shop. "I don't know, Nathan. You should have stopped me." I raised an eyebrow, trying not to laugh. "Seriously?" "Well," she huffed, "I'm on my period and I'm craving everything. When you went to Trevor's last Friday, guess what I did?" "What?" I asked, amused. "I went to McDonald's with Karen. I got 2 Big Macs, a large fries, and a large Coke." "2 Big Macs, Nathan?" I blinked in disbelief. "No way. You ate all of that?" Tracy's tiny, 5 feet 3 inches and petite, but she can eat like a champion. I did. And the best part? I still had a few bites of Karen's cheeseburger, she said proudly. "My cravings are out of control." I chuckled. "I can't relate, but hey, you deserve a medal for that." "Whatever," she sighed, shaking her head. "I just hope I can still fit into those shorts before the party. If not, I might lose my mind." "Oh no, we wouldn't want that," I said with mock seriousness. Tracy playfully smacked my hand. Before she could pull away, I held onto her fingers and smiled. "I love you," I said softly. Her cheeks flushed pink. I love you more. Sure, you do, I said, smirking. It was our usual game, we could go back and forth with that line forever. Nathan, you're perfect. How could I not love you more? I laughed. I'm not perfect, Trace. If being lazy and awkward counts as perfect, then maybe. You're not lazy, she protested. You play football, you help your mom, you even walk places instead of driving. How is that lazy? Okay, maybe I do things, I admitted, but that's just to cover up the fact that I am lazy. And awkward. Especially around your parents. Tracy laughed, her eyes sparkling. You're adorable when you're shy. Don't worry, they love you, especially my mom. I swear she likes you more than me. Is that why she keeps inviting me over? I teased. Probably. Tracy giggled, then smiled at me warmly. Seriously, Nathan, you're amazing. I'm actually surprised you stayed with me this long. That made my heart sink a little. Tracy's always been hard on herself. She doesn't see what I see, how beautiful, smart, and kind she really is. Trace, I sighed, holding her hand gently. How many times do I have to remind you? I know, she murmured. I just sometimes can't believe it. Why not? I asked quietly. Tracy looked at me sadly, brushing her brown curls behind her ear. Nathan, look at you. You're kind, popular, athletic, everyone likes you. You could be with anyone. I just don't understand why you chose me. Her words hit me hard. If only she could see herself through my eyes. I fell in love with Tracy when we were 15, the quiet girl who always sat in the back of the classroom, keeping to herself. I remember walking in late on the first day of school, scanning the room for familiar faces, and then seeing her. She had long brown hair, soft curls framing her face, and the kindest eyes I'd ever seen. We made eye contact for a moment before she quickly looked away. Back then, I pretended not to care, but I couldn't stop thinking about her. Months went by, I dated a few people, but she never left my mind. Then one summer night at a beach party, we talked for hours. That night, everything changed. When I finally asked her out, I was so nervous I could barely breathe. But she said yes. And just like that, Tracy became mine. Hey, Tracy said, pulling me out of my thoughts. You spaced out again. Sorry, I laughed. I was just remembering when we met. She smiled softly. I'm glad Karen dragged me to that party. I'm glad you did too, I said. Her cheeks flushed again and I grinned. I loved seeing her like that, shy, happy, and beautiful. Want to go back to my place and watch a movie? She asked, playfully wiggling her eyebrows. Obviously, I said, laughing. You pick the movie this time. Tracy laughed and we stood up to leave. As we walked out, her hand slipped into mine. A simple gesture, but one that made my heart race every single time. Yeah, I thought to myself, she's perfect. Tracy gave me a strange look, raising one eyebrow before her cheeks turned pink. I tried to hide a laugh as she crawled closer, narrowing her eyes with playful suspicion. Oh, really now? She teased, settling herself in front of me. Her hands brushed through my hair, and I couldn't help but smile at the warmth of her touch. Yeah, I said, matching her teasing tone. Now, how about a kiss? Tracy smirked. Your kisses always turn into a full meal. I'll pass, she joked, running her fingers gently down my chest. I chuckled. Come on, just one. She sighed dramatically, but I caught the tiny smile tugging at her lips. You're impossible, she said, her voice softening. I tilted my head slightly, trying to be charming, probably failing miserably, but when her eyes flicked down to my lips, she bit her bottom lip. Why do you have to be so cute? She groaned, hiding her face against my neck. I laughed quietly, running my fingers through her hair, the two of us wrapped in that quiet, easy warmth only love can bring. Because I'm yours, I said softly. Tracy looked up at me then, her brown eyes meeting my green ones. In her gaze, I saw everything: care, trust, love. And I hoped she could see the same in mine. I love you, I whispered, brushing a thumb along her cheek. I love you too, Nathan, she replied, resting her hand over mine. For a long moment, we just stayed there, two hearts at peace, caught in the kind of silence that says everything words can't. Then, of course, I had to ruin it. So, wanna make out now? Tracy rolled her eyes but laughed. Fine. She leaned in, pressing her lips to mine. The kiss started soft and playful, familiar and comforting. It wasn't about passion or urgency, it was about connection. The kind that made me forget everything else. When she finally pulled away, we both laughed breathlessly. Moments like this, the laughter, the teasing, the way she could turn any ordinary afternoon into something special, were what made me fall in love with her all over again. After a while, we just sat there talking, lying on the bed as sunlight filtered through the curtains. We talked about random things, memories, plans, and silly inside jokes that only we would ever understand. Eventually, Tracy looked at me with a smile. Do you want to stay for dinner? I shook my head with a sigh. Can't. Grandma's expecting us tonight. Her face lit up. Tell her I said hi, and that I love the peach candle she gave me. I light it all the time. I chuckled, slipping my shirt back on. Got it. She suddenly sat up. And tell Seth I'm still going to get him back for showing everyone that picture of me. I laughed. All right, I'll make sure to deliver that message too. Tracy grinned. I love you. I love you more. I teased, flipping my hair dramatically. Shut up, she said, laughing as I covered her face playfully with my hand before heading out. Her laughter followed me down the stairs, echoing through the house like music I never wanted to stop hearing. When I pulled up at my grandma's house, I noticed the driveway already filled with cars. Everyone was here. I stepped out, locking the car, and before I could even reach the porch, the door burst open. A girl with long caramel-colored hair and bright orange sneakers came running toward me with a grin. Nathan, she called, jumping straight into my arms. Arden. I laughed, catching her before she could knock us both over. Arden was my cousin Seth's girlfriend, though at this point she already felt like part of the family. She had this warmth about her, the kind that made people feel safe. Ever since she came into our lives, things just seemed a little brighter. As I hugged her back, I couldn't help but think about how lucky I was. A loving family, an incredible girlfriend, and people who genuinely cared about me. At that moment, life felt simple. At least for now. Arden, oh my gosh. I shouted back, using my best dramatic voice. She laughed as I set her down, and I couldn't help but notice how different her eyes looked now, brighter, lighter. There was a time when pain lived there, but now it was gone. Seeing her and my cousin finally happy again made me feel relieved. Hurry up. Everyone's been asking where you are. Arden grabbed my wrist and began dragging me toward the house. Where were you anyway? Doing homework, I said quickly. She raised a brow, but smiled knowingly. Homework. We both laughed as we stepped inside, greeted instantly by the sounds of laughter and chatter echoing through the house. How's Tracy? Arden asked with a grin. She's great. How's Seth? Great, she said with a smile before heading to the kitchen. I smirked and tiptoed dramatically into the living room. Hiya! I shouted as I jumped into the room. Everyone turned to look at me. Caroline, Drew, Tessa, Aaron, and Emmy, all sitting on the couch, deep in conversation. Nathan, where have you been? Emmy exclaimed. Now, Emmy's actually short for Emmett, but he prefers the nickname. He's proudly himself, confident, colorful, and unafraid to express who he is. Some days he dresses casually, other days he shows up like he's ready for a fashion show. I've always admired how fearless he is about it. I was at Tracy's, I said, trying not to blush. Emmy crossed his arms, shaking his head with a teasing smile. You two spend so much time together. Be careful, you'll wear her out with all that affection, he joked dramatically. The room burst into laughter. Seriously, Emmy, Tessa groaned, rolling her eyes. Oh, come on. I'm just saying, he replied, snapping his fingers sassily, which only made us laugh harder. Drew turned to me after a moment, her expression softening. Why didn't you bring Tracy? I love her. I shrugged. She had a lot of homework to finish, I said, smiling a little. Truth was, we'd spent the entire day together, and I figured she could use some time to rest. Drew started talking about a book she and Tracy both liked. I zoned out a little, letting my eyes drift toward the TV, until Emmy suddenly interrupted. "Wait, what book did you just say?" he asked dramatically. 50 Shades of Grey, Drew answered casually. "Tracy lent me the first one." Emmy's eyes widened. "Excuse me? Absolutely not. That's not for you." Caroline giggled. "I read them too. They're actually pretty good." Emmy gasped in mock horror. "Does your brother know about this? That book is definitely not age-appropriate." "It's not what you think," Caroline said, laughing. Emmy turned to me. "Nate, back me up here." I chuckled, holding my hands up. "I'm not getting in the middle of this one." The cousins started debating about the book, while I leaned back, amused. Then Drew scooted closer, lowering her voice. "Nathan, can I ask you something?" she said softly. "Sure. What's up?" Her cheeks turned slightly pink as she looked down, fiddling with her bracelet before glancing back up at me. "Do you think Trevor would ever go for a girl like me?" I blinked. "Trevor? My best friend." She nodded shyly. "I really like him." "I thought you knew." "No, I didn't." I tried to process that. "Since when do you like Trevor?" Drew smiled nervously. "He's funny, smart, and honestly, he's really kind once you get to know him. He's only a couple of years older." "Drew, you're still young," I said, trying to sound calm. "It's just a 2-year difference, Nate," she pointed out. "I'm 15, he's 17. That's not a big deal." "Yeah, but he'll be 18 soon," I reminded her. I wasn't sure why I sounded so protective, but I did. Maybe because Drew's like a little sister to me, and Trevor, well, Trevor's complicated. Drew looked hopeful. "Could you maybe ask him what he thinks about me?" I hesitated. My mind flashed back to the last time I hung out with Trevor, the confusion I still hadn't sorted out. "Yeah, sure," I finally said, though my voice sounded unsure. Her face lit up. "Really? Thanks, Nate." She patted my arm before turning back to the others. I sat there quietly, staring at the floor, my thoughts racing. Would Trevor actually go for Drew? She was pretty, smart, athletic. Definitely someone he could like. But something about the idea bothered me. Maybe because Trevor wasn't exactly good with relationships, or maybe it was something else. Maybe I just didn't want him to, right? Later that evening, after dinner, most of the family had gone home. Only my parents, Grandma, Seth, Caroline, and Arden stayed behind. My older sister, Rain, had work, so she couldn't come. After some time, I managed to catch Seth alone in the backyard. The night was calm, the air cool. "So," I said, sitting beside him, "how are you holding up?" Seth smirked a little. "Better than ever. Caroline and I haven't spoken to our parents in almost 2 years now." "Good," I said, smiling faintly. "I'm glad things are finally peaceful." He nodded, and I glanced down at his wrists, covered in colorful bracelets and wristbands. I knew why he wore them. I knew the pain he'd been through. He caught my look and sighed. "Nathan, don't worry about me, okay? I'm really fine now. Arden makes me happy, more than I thought I could ever be." I nodded, not wanting to press. "I just wish I'd been there for you back then. I didn't even know how bad it was." Seth shrugged it off. "It's all in the past now. You don't need to feel guilty." He held out his hand, and I grinned as we did our old handshake from when we were 10. For a second, everything felt normal again. But as we laughed, I noticed one of his bracelets slip slightly, and my smile faded. Underneath, there was a faint mark. A scar. My chest tightened. Some things, I realized, never really go away, no matter how hard we try to hide them. Chapter 6. Trevor's POV. "Oh no, these gloves smell awful," my friend Dave complained as he slipped on the rubber gloves. We were dissecting a frog in biology, again. We were supposed to move on to rats this week, but our teacher apparently thought this class wasn't mature enough yet. "Stop whining," I muttered, pulling on my own pair of gloves that, to be fair, really did smell terrible. I wasn't sure if the class before us didn't wash them properly or if they just permanently smelled like that. Either way, it wasn't pleasant. How many times do we have to dissect frogs? Dave grumbled, shooting a glare toward Mr. Johnson, who was currently helping another group. I shrugged. Apparently, a lot. Where's Nate? Brock asked, glancing at the empty seat next to me. Nathan had texted me earlier, saying he'd be a few minutes late because he overslept. Overslept? Classic Nate. He probably stayed up too late playing his video games, I said with a smirk. Aw, Nate. Brock teased dramatically, and the three of us laughed. Yeah, we tease each other constantly. That's just how we are, it's all in good fun. Well, I'm not doing this, Dave said, pointing at the frog. If he doesn't show up soon, I'm out. Same, Brock added, grimacing. I sighed and rolled my eyes. These two were both star players on the football team, tough, confident, and fearless, except when it came to dissecting a harmless frog. You guys are such babies, I said under my breath. And then, speak of the devil, the classroom door opened. Nathan walked in, looking half awake and half stressed. Dave and Brock started snickering immediately as Mr. Johnson stopped him at the door. Detention after school, Mr. Dawson, Mr. Johnson said sternly before letting him through. Nathan rolled his eyes and walked over to our table, muttering something under his breath. I couldn't help but laugh. Rough morning? Don't even start, Nathan said, sitting down. Mr. Johnson's just waiting for a reason to call me out. Maybe stop staying up all night watching movies, Brock teased, sliding the tray toward him. Then maybe you'd be on time. Nathan stared down at the frog, sighed, and turned to me. You want to do it this time? I grinned. Nah, it's all yours. He shot me a glare. He was cute when he was annoyed, not that I'd ever say that out loud. Fine, Nathan said, grabbing the scalpel. But you guys are writing the notes. Dave and Brock looked at each other, then at me. Sure, Brock said casually, pulling out his phone. Nathan frowned. We've done this like 7 times now, and you still don't know anything? Nope, Dave replied. Too lazy, I added with a shrug. The truth was, for most of the class period, I wasn't even paying attention to the frog. I was watching Nathan. I always admired how focused he got when working on something. He was smart, really smart. I wasn't dumb, but compared to him, he made everything look effortless. He was getting straight A's in every subject, even a perfect score in math. And he didn't even brag about it. No wonder his girlfriend adored him. Tracy. She was kind. Too kind, actually. The kind of girl you couldn't even dislike. Which, in my case, somehow made me want to dislike her more. By the end of the period, as usual, Nate and I ended up doing most of the work while Dave and Brock joked around. Look at Trevor, Dave suddenly laughed. He's actually trying. I dropped my pen and gave him a blank stare. Maybe because I actually want to pass this class? They just laughed harder. Nathan glanced up from the frog and smiled faintly. Don't mind them, he said. They'll thank you when they see their grades. I couldn't help but smile back. You sound like a teacher, you know that? Maybe I should be one, he said jokingly, focusing back on the frog. A comfortable silence followed. After a few minutes, I leaned in. Nate, the lungs are those little raisin-looking things, right? Yeah, he said, point. His hair brushed against my face as he leaned over, and before I even thought about it, I nudged him playfully. Hey! Nathan pulled back, giving me a confused look. Dave and Brock burst out laughing. What? You were in my way, I said with an innocent grin. Nathan shook his head, cheeks slightly pink. Ah, he's blushing, I teased just to mess with him. He ignored me and went back to work, muttering something about how immature I was. I tried not to laugh. I looked down at the frog again. Everything inside was out of place and gross. Ugh, what's that? I pointed at some brown stuff near the large intestine. Looks like undigested food, Nathan said after a closer look. Maybe grass. Lovely, Dave groaned. By the time class ended, we'd finally finished. Thank goodness, Dave said, pulling off his gloves. Nathan smirked. Guess what, number 7? Dave's football number. He slid the tray toward him. You and Brock are on cleanup duty. What? No way, Brock exclaimed. That's disgusting. Come on, it's just science, Nathan said with a grin. I'll pass, Brock replied, already backing away. Come on, tough guys, I teased. Be brave. They groaned but eventually dragged themselves toward the sink to clean up, still complaining. Nathan and I watched them, trying not to laugh. We should tell everyone that the football team can't even handle a frog, Nathan whispered, smirking. I grinned. Especially the cheerleaders. That'll really bother them. We both laughed quietly as Dave accidentally splashed water all over Brock, who yelled in protest. Wow, Nathan said between laughs. Some scientists they are. As the bell rang, he gathered his stuff, smiling at me before heading out the door. And for a moment I just sat there, watching him leave, wondering why every little thing he did stuck in my head so much. What's so funny, you two? Mr. Johnson's voice cut through our laughter, and his gaze landed right on me. I raised my eyebrows, feigning innocence. What? Two guys can't laugh about nothing? Nathan nodded quickly beside me, trying to hold back a grin. Mr. Johnson crossed his arms. With you, Trevor, it's never just nothing. And where are the frog and the tools? Dave and Brock are washing. Before I could even finish, a loud voice echoed from the sinks. Dave, don't touch me with that thing. We turned just in time to see Dave laughing uncontrollably while Brock stood there fuming, trying to wipe his arm with a paper towel. Mr. Johnson sighed heavily. You just had to put them on cleaning duty, he muttered, walking over to deal with the chaos. Nathan chuckled quietly. I raised an eyebrow at him. What's funny? Nothing, he said, still smiling as he checked his phone. Whoa, we've got like 2 minutes left. The period's almost over. Finally, I groaned, glancing at the clock. I'm starving. Don't forget, Coach wants to talk to us after lunch, Nathan reminded me. I've told you 3 times this week, but I bet you forgot again. I grinned sheepishly. Yeah, I did. Since I was team captain and Nathan was basically my co-captain, we always had meetings with Coach about upcoming games. The big tournament in Pennsylvania was just a few weeks away, and the pressure was definitely building. The bell suddenly rang, loud enough to make me jump. Nathan burst out laughing as I froze mid-motion. That was hilarious, he said between laughs. Yeah, whatever, I muttered, lightly tapping the back of his head as I grabbed my bag. Let's go before I pass out. Nathan followed me out the door, still laughing. The hallways were jam-packed as usual. Students were moving like herds of turtles, slow, distracted, and constantly stopping to chat. I weaved through the crowd, trying not to lose it. Nathan caught up beside me, shaking his head. You always walk like you're in a race. Because I'm hungry, I said, still pushing through. And if I don't get food soon, I might actually faint. As we passed a group of girls, a few smiled and waved at us. Nathan gave them his usual polite grin, while I just sighed internally. He always got attention without even trying, not that he noticed half the time. Whoa, I saw that, I teased as we reached the cafeteria doors. He frowned. Saw what? That double take. You checking out one of the girls? Nathan shook his head quickly. No. She just had, toilet paper stuck to her shoe. I was going to tell her. I snorted. Of course you were. He shrugged. It's the nice thing to do. And that right there was Nathan in a nutshell. Always kind, always considerate. The type of guy who'd stop to help a stranger, while I'd probably walk past because I was thinking about lunch. When we reached our table, most of the team and cheer squad were already there. You know, the usual popular crowd. I never really cared about that label. It just happened because most of us were either athletes or dating one. I'll admit, some of them could be arrogant at times, but I didn't let it bother me. It's high school. People wear masks just like I do. Nathan, though, was different. He was confident but never arrogant, kind without trying to impress anyone. That's probably why everyone liked him so much. And then there's me, his loud, overconfident best friend. The player everyone thinks they know. The truth? That image was easier than letting anyone see the real me. Trevor, my man. Stephen called out as I dropped into the seat between him and Chelsea. Hey man, I said, grabbing an apple from the center of the table. Hi, Trevor. Chelsea chirped, brushing her hair over her shoulder. Her perfectly polished nails glinted under the cafeteria lights as her hand brushed my arm. Any other guy would have been thrilled. Chelsea was beautiful, blonde hair, blue eyes, always perfectly put together. But for me, it was just uncomfortable. "Hey, Chelsea," I said politely, offering a small smile. She giggled, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed Nathan sitting across from me, raising an eyebrow when he saw Chelsea practically leaning against me. I shrugged as if to say, "Not my fault," and focused on my food. "Guys," Chelsea announced suddenly, "I think my pinky nail is about to break." Stephen groaned dramatically. "Oh no, the world is ending." Chelsea glared at him. "You don't understand how expensive these nails are." Danielle, the head cheerleader, and Stephen's girlfriend, smirked. "Maybe don't get fake nails then?" Chelsea rolled her eyes. "Easy for you to say." Danielle was your typical high school queen bee, confident, bossy, and used to getting her way. I respected her for her leadership, but she could be a little much sometimes. As the girls dove into a discussion about manicures, Stephen turned to Nathan. "So, where's the future Mrs. Dawson?" he joked, grinning. Nathan laughed awkwardly, checking his phone. "I texted Tracy, but she hasn't replied yet." I tried not to roll my eyes. Of course he was worried. That's Nathan, loyal to a fault. "Oh, speak of the angels," Danielle said, spotting Tracy and Karen entering the cafeteria. Both looked slightly flustered. "Hey," Tracy said, catching her breath. "Is the line long?" Stephen shook his head. "Not really. What took you guys so long?" "Nothing," Karen said quickly. "We were just using the restroom." Danielle raised an eyebrow. "For 15 minutes? Karen glanced at Tracy, who just smiled nervously. Nathan frowned, clearly sensing something was off, but didn't press. As everyone returned to their chatter, I found myself quietly watching him again. The way his brows furrowed in concern, the way he reached over to hand Tracy a bottle of water. And somewhere deep down, I couldn't ignore it anymore. That tug in my chest whenever he smiled. That feeling I kept trying to hide. "Pretty long when you're on your period," Karen replied, clearly trying to keep her cool. I bit my lip, hiding a small smirk when I saw Danielle's surprised expression. "Okay," Danielle said with a forced smile. "Thanks for sharing, Karen." "No problem," Karen chirped, giving her a pointed look before linking arms with Tracy. "We'll be right back, guys." "Nathan, do you want anything?" Tracy called over her shoulder as Karen led her away. Nathan smiled. "No, thanks," he called back, rolling his eyes playfully. As soon as Tracy and Karen disappeared into the food line, Danielle flipped her hair dramatically and gave us that classic I smell drama look. "What's wrong with them?" she asked, curiosity already burning in her eyes. I sighed. Of course, Danielle couldn't resist digging into other people's business. She was the type who treated rumors like they were treasure. Nathan frowned. "What makes you think something's wrong?" Danielle crossed her arms, tossing her shiny black hair over her shoulder. "Didn't you see Karen's face? She looked like she just got caught doing something she shouldn't." Chelsea shrugged, sipping her chocolate milk. Who cares?" "Chels, you're not supposed to be drinking chocolate milk," Danielle scolded. "Remember? Sadie said we all need to stay on a clean diet for regionals." Chelsea froze mid-sip. Nathan snorted quietly but stopped when Danielle glared at him. "Chelsea, you know what happens when you drink chocolate milk?" Danielle pressed. I looked at Chelsea, confused. "What happens? Are you allergic or something?" Chelsea shook her head, blushing. "No, it's just..." "She gets stomach problems," Danielle interrupted, sounding impatient. Chelsea gasped. "Danielle, can you not announce that to the whole cafeteria?" Stephen, her boyfriend, widened his eyes but stayed quiet. Honestly, I sometimes wonder how he puts up with her. "It was one time," Chelsea said, flustered. "And it was probably because I also had, like, 3 burritos." 3. Danielle raised an eyebrow. "Yes, Danielle," Chelsea sighed. "Now can we please drop it?" I rolled my eyes. "Maybe we should all just eat in peace, yeah?" "Wow, Trevor, always looking for a reason to pick on me," Danielle muttered. Babe, let it go, Steven mumbled, already tired of the argument. Danielle huffed. No, it's true. Ever since Trevor broke up with me ages ago, he's been acting like I'm the problem. Nathan sighed quietly, sensing another drama brewing. Danielle, I said calmly, how about we don't bring that up while your boyfriend's sitting right next to you? It's the past. Let's just move on. Yeah, Chelsea added with a teasing grin. Let's not relive the ancient history. Just before Danielle could respond, Tracy and Karen finally came back, each holding trays of food. Hey babe, Tracy said sweetly, leaning down to kiss Nathan on the cheek. I looked away, trying not to feel weirdly awkward about it. Hey, Nathan grinned, stealing one of her fries. Nathan! Tracy gasped. I love you, he said innocently, taking another fry. Tracy laughed and rolled her eyes before opening her soda. So, Karen began, giving Danielle a side glance, what were you guys talking about? Nothing, Steven said quickly. Just regionals. Yeah, Chelsea added, smiling nervously. Regionals. Can't wait. Karen and Tracy exchanged puzzled looks while Danielle just smirked and went back to her phone. I stared down at my pizza like it was the most interesting thing in the world. Then Karen spoke again, a mischievous glint in her eyes. Oh, by the way, Trevor, in math class, there was a pretty interesting conversation about you and Nathan. My head snapped up. Wait, what? Nathan frowned. Like what kind of conversation? Karen grinned. Apparently, a bunch of girls are shipping you two. Chelsea nearly choked on her drink. My eyes widened. Danielle smirked while Steven laughed so hard, he almost dropped his fork. Tracy looked confused. Nathan just sat there frozen. Oh, I said, trying to act casual. But inside, my heart was racing. People think we'd look good together? That's cool, Nathan finally said, shrugging. Our eyes met for a second before I quickly looked away. Was he serious? Joking? I couldn't tell. I think that would actually be kind of cute, Chelsea said, smiling. Trevor and Nate. A power duo. And maybe a little funny, Danielle added with a grin. Steven groaned. Here we go. Why would people even say that? I asked, pretending to laugh. We're just friends. Karen shrugged. I don't know. It started as random talk. Fashion, sports, then somehow turned into people fangirling over cute friendships. You and Nathan came up. Nathan smirked. Well, Trevor, apparently we'd make a great couple. Huh, very funny, I muttered, feeling my face heat up. Tracy giggled. Honestly, you two are kind of adorable together. I wanted to hide under the table. This was getting out of hand. You okay, man? Nathan asked, nudging my arm gently. Yeah, I muttered. Just weird hearing stuff like that. Tracy pursed her lips. Knowing Amanda and her friends, I wouldn't be surprised if rumors start spreading soon. Danielle smirked. Come on, with how close you two are. It's not that surprising. Chelsea waved her hand. Ignore her. She's just teasing. Karen laughed softly. Still, sometimes you two act a little too close. Everyone chuckled lightly, but I couldn't help feeling something tighten in my chest. Because maybe, just maybe, they weren't entirely wrong. Can you not? I muttered, rolling my eyes. Actually, Steven smirked, the girls have a point, man. I tried to ignore them as I took a long sip of water. Thinking I couldn't see them, Danielle, Steven, and Karen exchanged mischievous smirks. Nathan, sitting beside me, looked more confused than amused. Tracy, I think you've got some competition, Karen teased, nodding toward me. I stopped drinking and gave her a blank stare. Tracy bit her lip and smiled. I don't know, Trevor, do I? No, I said quickly. The table burst into laughter, even Nathan laughed along. At least he didn't look disgusted or uncomfortable. Maybe I was overthinking it. To everyone else, it was just a harmless joke. Normally, I'd be the one joking back. But when you're secretly in love with your best friend, jokes like that hit differently. Especially when you have to pretend they don't. It's hard to be gay, deeply in love with your best friend, and forced to act like you're not, pretending to laugh while the truth stays hidden behind every smile. Yeah, Nathan finally said, probably sensing I was getting quiet. Trevor just doesn't want everyone knowing about us yet. Ah. Chelsea and Karen said in unison, making exaggerated pouty faces. Seriously, guys? I groaned. How much more awkward can you make this? I glared at Nathan's pizza like it had personally offended me. Relax, Trevor, Nathan laughed, ruffling my hair. We're just joking. Yeah, I muttered under my breath. Just joking. I let out a sigh, or maybe it was some weird half-growl sound that made Chelsea giggle, and everyone went back to their conversations about regionals and upcoming tournaments. When I risked a glance at Nathan, he was already looking at me. Our eyes met for a second too long, and I quickly grabbed my phone to look busy. So, Tracy said, "What's everyone wearing on Friday?" "I'm wearing this black dress I got the other day," Danielle said proudly, checking her reflection in her compact mirror. "It's strapless and tight, but really comfortable." Stephen raised an eyebrow. "Let me guess, it's barely long enough?" Danielle smirked. "Maybe, but you know you love it." Stephen laughed. "You're not wrong. Just be careful, I don't want anyone trying to flirt with you." Chelsea rolled her eyes. "I'm just wearing shorts. Regular ones. Nothing special." "Chelsea, you need to wear a top too." Karen teased dramatically. "Oh my gosh, Karen, obviously." Chelsea laughed. "I just can't decide which one. Maybe a white cami or my Star Trek crop top." I laughed. "Wait, since when do you like Star Trek?" "I used to watch it every Saturday morning with my dad," she said fondly. "That's cute," Danielle said, then frowned. "But isn't Star Trek just a copy of Star Works or whatever?" "Star Wars," Nathan groaned. "And no, Danielle, it's not a copy. They're completely different." "Whatever," she shrugged. "They're both weird." Nathan, Stephen, Chelsea, and I shared shocked expressions. Did she really just say that? Even I, a guy who isn't exactly the poster child for masculinity, know better than that. "Anyway," Karen said, steering the conversation back, "I'm wearing a gray romper." "I what?" I asked. She laughed. "A romper. You know, one piece that's both shorts and a top." "So, like overalls?" Nathan said. "No," she sighed. "It's just a romper." "I still don't get it," I said, frowning. Karen rolled her eyes and handed me her phone. "Look." It was a photo of her wearing it in front of a mirror. "Oh, so that's what it is," I said, handing her back the phone. "Looks interesting." "Excuse me," she said, feigning offense. "I'm just saying, what's wrong with regular shorts and a shirt?" I teased. "Why make things complicated?" "Because it's cute," Chelsea said, nudging me. "Leave Karen alone." "Yeah." Karen stuck her tongue out. Nathan and Stephen laughed while I grinned at her. "I'm joking," I said with a smile. "It actually looks good. Unique, but good." "Wow," Nathan laughed. "Even when you compliment someone, you still find a way to insult them." The rest of lunch was filled with light-hearted talk about the upcoming regional tournament and Declan's big party on Friday. Everyone was going, and since Declan's family had a massive house, it was tradition for us to help clean up afterward. "This party's going to be crazy," Stephen grinned. "I can feel it." "Crazy things happen at every party," Karen said knowingly. "No, I mean really crazy," Stephen said. "Even people from other towns are coming." Chelsea's face lit up. "I can't wait. Just, someone please don't let me drink too much this time. I hate waking up with a headache." "Then maybe don't drink," Danielle said. "I'll just have a couple," Chelsea replied. "But I need backup, okay?" "Don't worry," I said. "We'll make sure you're fine. I don't think anyone wants a repeat of last time." Her cheeks turned pink as the others laughed. "I'm definitely getting a drink," Karen announced. "Tracy." "Of course," Tracy said with a grin. Nathan's eyes widened for a moment before he shrugged. "Bring it on." "I've never seen Nathan actually drunk before," Danielle said. "Now that I want to see." "Same," Nathan and I said in unison, making everyone laugh. Nathan smirked. "I'll do it only if Trevor gets drunk with me." Everyone turned to look at me. I chuckled and raised my eyebrows. Sure thing, man. Let's do it. Yay. Karen cheered. This is going to be so much fun. I'm not really the kind of guy who drinks a lot, but maybe this one time wouldn't hurt. I told myself that as Nathan's grin lingered in my mind, the kind that made my chest tighten in ways I'd never admit. At least, I hoped it wouldn't hurt. Thanks for listening to today's BL story. If it made your heart skip a beat, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Only here on BL Stories, where love knows no limits.